Welcome to another episode of the Popko Project podcast. Today I'm joined by Jeff Bonomo, who is a musician, TV host, producer, author, and probably things that I'm forgetting.
A lot of stuff. Like I told you, John, it's great to be here. Thank you. And yeah, I dabble in all kind of media. So whatever we want to talk about, let's go.
Yeah, so like we've been friends on Facebook for a long time, and I see your stuff pop up here and there, but we've never had a chance to connect, which, shame on me because I myself am also in media too. So it's like, how do I not know more about this guy? So I'm glad we're doing this. So for people who may be hearing your name for the first time, uh, I guess I'll fall under that category, not the name, but the person. Who is Jeff Bonomo, and how do you describe what you do?
Lifelong resident of northeastern Pennsylvania. Had many chances to leave, and I didn't because I do love the area. Born in a town called Partysville.
Where is that at?
That is right outside of Hazleton,
Okay.
southern Luzerne County. I still live in the area. Most of my family's still here. And from a young age, I've always dabbled in media, creativity, and drawing. I went to school at LCC for broadcasting, and first I actually went there for art, but found out that if you just have an art degree, what are you going to do? So I kind of went back and did it again, and found I found my way in life with TV. Samson Productions was the first job out of college, and then I went to WYLN TV and then stayed there for almost 20 years. And through that course, I'm a drummer. Learned how to play drums when probably about 15 years old. I've been in all kind of failed cover bands in the area. More recently, in the last 15 years, I've been playing with a band called Ostrich Hat, and we've played all across Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Delaware. You could see us at Mohegan Sun probably once a month. Sorry, Mohegan, Pennsylvania. They
Yes, they
changed the
rebranded.
yeah. So I've always been drawn to music and film and creative writing and stuff like that. So that's me in a nutshell.
Were
That's what I do.
you
I just do stuff.
did you grow up around that kind of stuff, or what kind of pushed you in that direction?
I loved television. I loved music from a young age. There are other musicians in my family. Actually, the singer in my band is a cousin. He's one of my cousins. But like my brothers, they like that stuff. My brother Paul he's also a broadcaster, a little bit different. But other than that, I'm surrounded by teachers really in my family, and no one really was into music or film and stuff like that like I was. I just love it. So I just kind of just blazed my own trail with that, if you will. So
Sure. Now, out of all the creative hats that you have, musician, TV host, producer, author, um, which one feels the most like you right now?
that's a tough question because it kind of
You're
goes.
still doing all of it?
Yeah, it depends really. Right now, like I'm really concentrating on the book that came out right before Thanksgiving, The Drinker's Guide to Survival. I'm pushing that a lot. That was something I wanted to do, and I'd say New Year's Day last year, I was like, you know what? I've been meaning to write another book because I wrote one in 2003. I wanted to write another book, and I wanted to write it about bar culture and what I call being an alcohol enthusiast. Uh, and that was what I concentrated on for almost a whole year, was getting that, going through notes, old notebooks and old hard drives. I had a couple things on floppy disk. That's how long it's been gestating. But and then every weekend, I put on my drummer hat, grab my drumsticks, and go off with the band to play somewhere in northeastern Pennsylvania, usually, if we're not doing a wedding somewhere. And weekly, I do a TV show with my wife called Wine Hops and Road Stops, where it's all about good wine, craft beer, and road stops, like interesting places. And sometimes we go to breweries, wineries, distilleries, and stuff. And I have to have a drink tonight because we're talking about beer and stuff. So
I feel like I should have done that. I feel foolish. I don't think I even
Well, I
have
want to
any.
give a shout out though right here to my friend from Groove Brewing in Scranton, Ed Generos. He's wonderful beers.
Well,
So
I saw one of the episodes. You were at Sabatini's and you got a beer. It was an Imperial Stout. I think it was like
yeah,
15%.
yeah, I didn't know it was that. I just stopped there. I was in the neighborhood, so it was just kind of impromptu. Stopped there, and yeah, it was from Groove Brewing because I really like their beers, and I realized like, oh boy, it's a big beer. I better sip this. So I ordered pizza. So staying with it.
I've never had a beer from Groove Brewing.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Believe that? A guy I work with, Prospector on Rock 107, he is a big fan of Groove
Yeah.
Brewing. And I saw the beer. I think they actually made it happen. It was like a parody at first. It was from Cole Creative. I think they actually like made that happen.
Yeah, they made a real beer out of that, and it turned into a real thing, and it's a really good beer. I tried it at the beer festival and it was fantastic. Yeah, Ed Generos, he's from the head brewer there. He's from like originally like right down the street from me. He's from the southern Luzerne County here in the Hazleton area, so it's kind of how I connected through personal friends. You mentioned Prospector, and I'm sure if we start throwing names around, there's a lot of people I know being in broadcasting, that I'm sure that are the same people that being in radio for how long.
hmm
Just kind of funny how we never actually crossed, but it just popped in my head that you're mentioning these people, and
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I was just thinking that like everything you do and have been involved in, I also love and have been involved in music, beer, obviously broadcasting, all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. I actually teamed up with Back Mountain Brewing a few years ago, created my own beer, Popko's Porter.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so I mean, this is
Clay, right? He's the
yeah,
guy there. Clay. Yeah, he's a
yep,
great guy.
yeah.
He was on the show. We did a big showcase. Went up there to showcase the beers. He's a great guy. I just was with him in the summer at a beer festival. We hung out for a while. Great guy, and does another guy, amazing beers. It's one thing I have to say about this area, and I don't just say it just because we're from northeastern Pennsylvania, but there's so many excellent craft breweries, wineries, and distilleries in this area. You don't really have to go anywhere else. And anytime I go out of the area, like I once in a while we'll go to Atlantic City or we'll fly across the country to Las Vegas. I'll try the beers and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. I always like go back to thinking like, well, it's not as good as like say, Back Mountain Brewing or
Yeah.
or something like that. So we're really, I think, fortunate in this area that there's so much of that, craft beverage scene. Really, I mean, some people don't think there's much of a scene at all here, no matter what you're talking about, but there is, and there's a lot of really good stuff. And I always push. First and foremost, I always push the locals. Go out to a craft brewery and go try one of their beers. And even if you like beer flavored beer, you could always find something. A lot of people say I don't like this. Whatever. I'm not sure what kind of beer that you had made for you. Was it like a pilsner or?
No, we actually did so it was a porter, Popko's
Oh,
Porter, and it
nice.
was
Nice.
a coffee porter. Um so we actually worked with a local coffee company. It was uh Beatnik. Yeah, Beatnik. I'm sorry, not Beatnik. Beannik. Kind of a play on off Beatnik. So it was Beannik coffee. So yeah, it was a coffee porter. It was really cool because Clay and I went to high school together. He was a year or two ahead of me, and you know, I love beer. Big beer fan, right? And I used to homebrew back in like 2010, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work though. Like
Yeah, it is.
you do it, and then the yield from it is like it's more fun to do with your buddies, and then
Oh
like
yeah.
you have it afterwards. But like I'm like I'd rather just go and get a case of good beer. I know it's gonna be good, and leave it at that. So I kind of got away from that. I wish I kind of stuck with it, but um,
I feel you. I'm the same way. Actually, I haven't homebrewed in a while. I actually have the stuff to brew it. It's just kind of sitting in my basement waiting for me to get back into it. But it's been a while. Over COVID, I did it a lot because there was nothing else to do.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you. I'll just go to a local brew pub and get something local and good. And
Yeah, these guys are pros, and
yeah,
so when I hooked up with Clay, um, we both went to the same high school, and I wanted to create my own beer. And he was on board 100%, and we sold out of the beer in 2 or 3 days. And all the money we raised from the beer sales, we gave to our high school music program because obviously, I'm sure you know that the arts in schools is the ones that are getting cut. They're not
oh
they're
yeah,
not they're not filling the stadiums on the weekends
right.
with football games and shit like that. So yeah, so I think it was like 2 grand, a little over 2 grand. We
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
donated to the high school. So
I'm
yeah.
sorry I missed the beer. I would have loved to try it, but it probably, when did you have it done?
Oh man, was that 2022? I think it
I
was
probably just
2020.
missed it. I probably
Yeah,
just missed it because he was on the show a few years back. So yeah, I probably just missed it, unfortunately. But if you ever do it again, let me know. I'd love to try it, put it on the show. You know,
I think I have a couple cans still in my fridge.
okay, well,
But
maybe we can hang out
it
sometime.
wouldn't make any sense because I mean I would happy to have you try it, but people can't get it now, so it's like.
Right. Yeah.
But and then just this past summer, I teamed up with Mutant Brewing, and we
Mm.
did a beer for the radio station Fuzz 96.1. It was called Peach Fuzz. It was a peach IPA. It was great. It was awesome.
I believe they had that at the beer festival I was at in the summer. I think Mutant. Yeah, Mutant. I'm pretty sure they had it there. Not exactly sure because it's a little hazy. But we did a whole show from Eckley Miners Village, which is this historic mining town right outside of Hazleton, and they had a beer festival. And Mutant Brewing was there. It's the first time I met the guys, and great beers. Another one. I mean,
Yeah.
Scranton's filled with great breweries.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that was I tried all of them, so I'm pretty sure I tried that.
Yeah, it came out in April, so I mean, it definitely would have been part of their
Okay,
rotation. So,
yeah.
have you ever been to the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival?
No, actually,
Oh,
I
man.
haven't. When it went on, I was actually playing a gig down there, so I couldn't go. I was playing a gig with my band down at Tropicana the same day,
Oh,
so
jeez.
we weren't able to go because if I went, there's no way I'm getting behind the drums after that.
No.
Yeah, that was a few years back, but yeah, I've been trying to go. It's just it needs to line up. Unfortunately, I, I I do so many things. It's kind of hard
It's tough.
to
Yeah.
get to a lot of these things. So
Well,
yeah,
this year is the last one.
I know. I heard. I know, and I think I'm already booked somewhere.
Oh, jeez.
So
Cancel those
so
plans.
yeah. I don't think the band would like that. I wouldn't mind.
That's a great
So
time. I know the producer of that event
yeah, that's
very
it.
well, and yeah, it's sad to see it go. I've missed the last few years
Yeah,
too myself, just because
it's
I'm
unfortunate.
I'm also busy too. So it's like I got 2 kids, and it's hard. Life gets busy.
Yeah, yeah. It's continuing. What you like to do. Is hard, and I do feel blessed. That I'm able to still at 52 years old still do what I like to do. And surround myself with things I love. Unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to go and just have a day off because you're playing music or I'm doing a TV show or I used to host a podcast with my cousin about rock and metal music. Still trying to find time to do that again. So I just like creating. I just really love to do all that stuff. And yeah, sometimes it's hard even to get the lawn mode
Oh
because
yeah,
we're doing
this
stuff. But I think, and I'll say that I think you feel probably the same way. We're blessed to still be in this industry, especially now. How the broadcasting industry is changing. It's always changing, and you just kind of got to keep going with it. You can't think about how it used to be
yeah.
10 years ago. It's different now, and God bless you for still making it work. And I feel blessed too that I'm still employed and in some way or another. in this crazy industry.
Yeah, I mean, everything I've been a part of media-wise has been like, I mean, I started my career at The Weekender. I'm sure you're familiar with
Hmm.
that.
Yep.
Obviously,
They actually did an article on my first book,
okay, cool.
long time ago.
Yeah, but
Yep.
RIP Weekender.
Yeah, yeah. I just enjoy it.
Obviously, radio is not the powerhouse it once was. Still effective, still an
Oh,
effective
sure.
form of communication and media. But yeah, I mean, the world, you've seen it. You've been in
Yeah,
this industry for so long. It's just
yeah.
like it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. It really is. But we adjust, we survive, and we just find things that still excite us. And roll with it. Just this whole podcast thing. Didn't exist. 15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah, it's such an easy access in, right? I always say like any idiot with microphone could be a podcaster. Look at me, right? Uh, but it's
That's
fun.
how I
Yeah, I
feel.
mean, I've been doing this for a little over 5 years now.
Hmm.
Over 250 episodes published, and it's just fun. It's just for fun. It's just I don't get anything out of it monetarily. It's just I love doing it.
You have to. You
Yeah.
really have to because most, even the TV show I do, we give it to the different cable systems and across Pennsylvania for free. That's it. We just give it out because they still want you know they still want the product. They still need something to fill the slot. So right now you can see Wine Hops and Road Stops on Blue Ridge Cable, Service Electric Cablevision, Service Electric Allentown, WHVL and State College. So it's a pretty big net we throw over Pennsylvania, which is great. Unfortunately, there are some places that still can't get into, and I don't know why. I've been kind of trying to figure that out. But we're a completely independent TV show. Really, there's no backing. It's just other than like we do have sponsors that help us, with the product and stuff. But there's no there's no money. We do it because we love to do it. It's something that me and my wife and I can do on a Thursday or Sunday afternoon when we're home. It's get up on the set, which is our home bar,
Yeah.
and we go, and it's a lot of fun, and that actually was also kind of she was part of the muse, we'll say, to get me writing again, and as we went over things on this show, the show's been around for almost 9 years now. It's only branched out to other cable systems and broadcast stations in the last, I think, 2 years. But it's been around for almost 9 years now, and it's just stuff we talk about and stuff we have on the show. It's like, well, I could put some of that into the book, and that's another reason why the book came together pretty fast. I was pulling stuff from the show, and like I said before, notes, a lot of notes, little floppy disks and stuff, just from the last probably 15, 20 years since I did the last one. And it's been going really well, actually. Surprisingly, I'm surprised.
Well,
So,
talk about that show. I mean, like, what made you decide to start it? Talk a little bit about, more specifically about what you guys do on the show.
okay.
I want to get into like how you eventually talked to cable networks and it was able to get it on with them. Like, talk about wine hops and road stops.
Okay. Well, when I started working at WYLN Television, I started as the director of production services. I was doing all their promotions. I was doing their commercials and stuff. I was a one man crew. I transferred over from my last job as just mainly a news videographer, but I always wanted to do something creative. So when this position opened up, I went to, and that was 2006 or something, 5 or 6, somewhere around there, and I started doing an offbeat travel show called Off the Beaten Path, where I would go with some other 2 or 3 other reporters. We'd go out through Pennsylvania and find weird stuff. And every once in a while, I'd run into what I call the super fan. Someone who was just really into something, and their hobbies took over their life, and they were kind of pushing it into a business. So one of the episodes was I found out about Breaker Brewing Company, and they're a really popular brewing company now. They were brewing out of their garage.
Hmm.
I went up there in a snowstorm just to talk to these guys because they were basically home brewers who were brewing out of the garage, real small batches. And so after I shot that segment for the show, I'm thinking there is no TV show in northeastern Pennsylvania, in our market, that just does beer, wine, spirits. There's no show. So I went to basically I went to the owners of the station because it was a family-owned station. I'm like, can I do this? And they're like, sure. If they could get a couple bucks on it, go ahead. So it was my idea, and I just said, can I run on the show? You don't have to pay me. I'll do it on my own time. And I said, go. And that's pretty much how it started. They were just like, yeah, we need content. We don't have to pay you, so okay,
Yeah, free local
go
content.
and do it. So, and that's what I did on my spare time. On the weekends I would. It started. We were doing it at a bottle shop called the Beer Stop in West Hazelton. It started there with the owner there, and we did that for a while. But then again, I'll mention the big C word. When COVID hit, stuck inside, I still wanted to do the show, and was sitting on the couch next to me as my wife. I'm like, hey, you want to be on the show? And from there, we got like the female perspective, and that started getting more people to watch because it wasn't just me and some other guy who knew everything about beer talking. It was my wife Desiree who, she just likes a good drink, and so we have the female perspective there, and it kind of grew from there, and I would contact other TV stations in the area that they kind of knew who WYLN TV was, and they knew the family because the Gans family, who owned the station, they're like the pioneers of cable TV. Their family goes way back to the days of Monterey City and stuff. There's a little history. I don't want to get too much into the history lesson. I don't want to bore people, but so I was able to contact like Blue Ridge Cable, and they didn't have room for me. And WHBL out in State College, I don't know how I got in touch with them. I don't quite remember it, but they're like, yeah, sure, we'll take it, And Service Electric Allentown, they jumped on board as soon as I said something to them because, again, they needed content. So Blue Ridge came on maybe about I think I've been on Blue Ridge maybe for 2 years. And that's a really big reach. Blue Ridge 13, 113, and the other one that I can't remember the number of. But, So that's how I just wanted to do something that was a little different, and when I was working at WYLN TV, I was able to do that. We were able to do a lot of because it was all local programming. If you had a good idea, throw it up on TV, see if it works. That's pretty much the attitude it was for a while. So, and that's pretty much how it happened, and it just kind of been going ever since.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst I can say? It's no, right?
Mm. And I still, like I said, we still enjoy doing it, and we do a lot more now with the show than we have in the past. In the past, it was pretty straightforward and just kind of a one note thing, and now we try to do as much as possible. And the next show we're doing, we're going to talk about pizza a little bit more, especially the cold pizza, the deli pizza, because on our Facebook group there was a big argument about what was good and what wasn't and stuff, and And I could get into a whole bunch. We could talk about pizza forever because that's another thing I love. So we branch out a little bit, and not just about alcohol and stuff. It's also about good food. So every once in a while, we'll just start ranting about a good hoagie I had at the local bar or whatever down the street or whatever. It's kind of flexible. So
Yeah, and people love that content. It seems like people love pizza. Just like they like to
people love pizza.
chime in about their favorite hoagies, like you just said. It's like
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm like like my content it doesn't do as well as stuff like that because a lot of mine isn't as relatable. I mean, everyone eats, right? Everyone has their favorite local spot or their favorite pizza or their favorite hoagie or their favorite wings. It's like they'll die on those hills too.
Oh yeah, they'll get pretty nasty. That was probably one of the biggest posts recently on our Facebook group was about cold pizza. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but down here it's pretty crazy. They have there's snaps and there's Carmen's and there's Barrancos, and they're all different. And it's like you're either on this side or you're on that side, and
So
It's pretty wild.
it's cold on purpose?
Yeah, yeah. It's a deli pizza. It's made cold. It's you're supposed to eat it
No.
cold. It's you're looking like it's oh that's weird, but you know what?
You guys can keep that. I don't want that.
Well, but I'm not one that hates on Old Forge though. I really like Old Forge style pizza, and a lot of
Yeah.
people down here don't.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big thing down here.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
kind of weird, because we're not that far apart, as far as
no.
geography goes. But it's how these patch towns are, which another reason I love this area. People are very passionate about certain things. So
They really are. I love it. I mean, it's a unique area. You touched on that earlier when we first started. It's um everyone kind of shits on the area to a degree, right? Nothing to
yeah,
do. This area sucks and blah blah blah. But I mean, the food we have, the talent as far as musicians go it's
oh yeah,
kind of crazy. The beer, like you said, it's just
yeah. You want to talk about musicians? You got to be good if you're gonna, especially like I play in a cover band, so I mean it's like it is what it is. But I've always noticed the crowds here will rip you apart if you're not good. Like they'll be
really.
brutal. Yeah. That's why there's so many excellent musicians in this area. I'm not one of them, but I know a bunch of them. There's a lot of really great players, and I put them up against anyone from a big city. Like they're so good, and it doesn't matter if you're talking about like metal musicians, blues players. A lot of really good blues players here.
Hmm.
It's just how it is. People are passionate. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to that first show I was talking about that I produced for WYLN called Off the Beaten Path. Our slogan was Pennsylvania is filled with interesting things. You just need to know where to look.
Hmm.
And we mainly stood within like an hour to an hour and a half of the Hazleton area, because that's pretty much all we were able to go and do with that show. Time constraints and all, but that
Sure.
was our slogan. Like you just gotta know where to look. There's a lot of really nice things in this area to do and to see. So that just kind of jogged my memory. That show I haven't produced anything for that in 10 odd years, but that was a lot of fun. And then I cut my teeth on doing local produced show, kind of like was it Mike Stevens? God, what was that? The down the Pennsylvania road. Oh my God, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of it, and I shouldn't be because it's so iconic. But yeah, it's kind of like that. It was like that, but it was a little bit more expanded to a half hour. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I say about the area. You could shit on all you want, but I like it here, and that's why I stayed.
Yeah, I mean, I've been here my entire life too. I can't imagine myself ever leaving. You kind of get comfortable, right?
Sure, yeah,
But
and I'm
there's
fine
no
with
reason
that.
to leave. Not yet,
I like the woods. I live in the woods, so I like the woods. It's good.
until they put a data center in your backyard.
Hope not. I'll leave it at that.
That's a hot button right now.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Scary. Scary. But I mean, I feel like everything you've been a part of kind of makes sense to put inside this book. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so talk about this new book.
Well, it's some of it's a history book, some of it's a guide to not being a jerk, basically. uh, you know, it's not about excess, but it's about that that feeling you get hanging out with your buddies, cracking a cold one, talking about nonsense, and just having a good time. There's a lot of that, and I also have like bar etiquette in it. What to do, what not to do. You know, when you're talking with a bartender, there's how to avoid conflicts. I have different types of bars, and what can you expect if you go to like a dive bar compared to a country bar or something. I really do go into a lot of the history this time of where alcohol came from and how it shaped society. Do a lot of history in it. I also have tips about surviving Las Vegas. That was a fun one to write because a lot of it comes from personal experience too. There's a few stories in there from my wilder years when I was in my 20s. My friends what happened and stuff, how to avoid hangovers, food pairings with beer and diner etiquette after midnight. You're going to go to a 24-hour diner. What to expect, what not to do. It's all kind of tongue in cheek, but there's little bits of actual knowledge in there, and sometimes I'll get a little too silly, I think, but it's me, so a little
Well,
little off the wall sometimes.
yeah, well,
But
it's entertaining, you know.
it has to be, yeah. That was the main thing. If you get a little chuckle out of it, I did my job. But there are some real rules that I follow, and mainly it is, like for one, like I have a glass of water next to me too,
Mm-hmm.
while I'm
Hydrate,
drinking
hydrate.
because you got to hydrate.
So, is when you're tipping, what are the rules on tipping?
The rules, the weird thing is I don't really have much about that because I always let people, kind of do what they want. But as far as I go, I try to tip as much as possible because I know these people, especially on a busy night, tip well. That's all I gotta say is tip well, tip. What you can because these people are running around crazy. I recently New Year's Eve, my band played at Mohegan, Pennsylvania. We played at Breakers, and there was three bartenders on. There was Candy, Sarah, and the guy. How about that? I know the girls' names. I can't remember the
Yeah.
guy's name. They ran around the whole night, and I felt, I was like, oh my god, I'm standing up there playing drums. I'm looking down at them. I'm thinking, I hope these people are tipping them well. So I made sure at the end of the night, threw them a couple bucks because I'm like, thank you. And I know how much bartenders in a busy club. I know I would never want to do that.
Yeah.
It's crazy, But I always say just tip what you can, But make sure you tip. Don't not tip, you know.
Is there like a rule of thumb? Like when I was younger, it was always like, tip a dollar a beer. Like,
That's what I usually do at least. Yeah,
or if it's a mixed drink, like maybe a couple, maybe it's two or
yeah,
three.
yeah. It depends. It depends on how expensive the drink is. But if I think back to like a draft beer at a dive bar, what is that going to be? $3? Give them another buck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always make sure I'll do that if I'm just paying with cash. But at the end, it's 20% or up usually.
Yeah. How do you feel about tipping on takeout?
I still do.
I always, I always,
I'm not too excited about it, but I still do.
I always do at least a dollar.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think about because a lot of the bartenders and people don't think about this. They actually they walk back. Either they walk back and get it and bring it, or they walk back, they package it up and bring it out.
Yeah,
And that's like time that they could be serving a beer to the customers at the bar. They're taking away from that to go get your food. So it's like
right,
I feel like I should at least throw a dollar.
right. Yeah, I even tip DoorDash people, pretty well too. So
Yeah, that's a wild. I love it. Right? It's convenient. It's
yeah, it's
expensive.
it's a little too convenient sometimes. I'll say that. My daughter loves it.
My wife's been door dashing groceries recently. I'm like,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on, I'll just go get it. I'll just go get it. I will.
I'm not gonna say anything more about that because I'll get myself in trouble.
Um, how have you seen the beer world change over the years? Because obviously we're in a place. I mean, I see a ton of craft breweries closing. I see, you see the reports that people are drinking less now than ever before. Obviously the cost of the ingredients has gone up, and it's finding back in our day you could find a beer for $1.
Yeah,
You can get a draft beer for $1.
yeah,
That's unheard of. They had happy hours at bars.
yeah. I remember penny draft night. There was
Yeah.
yeah. There was a place I remember that it was 10 cents a beer. Until I think it was until someone peed or something. It was something real weird. It was a weird thing they were doing
Yeah, penny
at
till you
one of the
pee.
dive bars. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. You mentioned it, and I agree. There's a noticeable decline, unfortunately. I think a lot of places expanded way too fast, and I know that was the problem with I think it was Iron Hill and they
Hmm.
admitted to it. But yeah, I know they're not making much. I know less and less people, yes, are drinking. Maybe some people say, man, maybe it's because marijuana is not as not demonized as much anymore. I
Right.
don't know. But what I like about the craft beer, the whole craft beer thing is there's so much choice, and maybe that's a bad thing too because there is so much choice now, so many
Too
different
many
things. There's
options.
not
Yeah.
just you know two styles of beer. There is there's a guy who he said he posts on our group like constantly. Every time I talk about a beer that's not like just a normal domestic beer, he says he wants a beer flavored beer. Don't give me a beer that tastes like bananas and coffee or whatever.
Hmm.
And I'm like, why not? You know,
Yeah.
why not do it? You know, but and I don't fault the people who like beers. Like right now, like I said, I'm drinking a Groove Brewing. This is a cream ale. This is like it's like a dad beer.
Yeah.
But it's really good and it's real clean. But yeah, as far as the industry goes, yeah, I could it's down a little bit, we'll say, and that's another reason why I don't. We don't charge to be on the TV show either. The only thing I ask is like if you want us to showcase, send me a beer. Send me one beer, and we'll talk you up on the show, or and that's it. Or if we go there, I never ask for anything for free. I always pay for it. I'll shoot video of it, and off we go. Because I know they're not making what they used to make probably. And
Right.
like you said, everything's going up and up and up and up, and the price of everything is like that. So yeah, unfortunately, I see it. It's in a downturn, and yeah, it's sad that a lot of breweries are closing, and people they're just not working out.
Yeah, it's sad too because and you kind of touched on this before, having a beer with your buddies and like and I don't want to get into politics on this, but like Dr. Oz said something goofy about, beer being like a social lubricant and he's right. I mean,
Yeah,
I won't say you should support drinking because it's a social lubricant, right? But um it is. It has this like community thing, and it's
it's a communal
um
thing, sure. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
you
Whether you're
can
watching a football game or whether you're just hanging out with your buddies or you playing music or whatever, or listening to music, you're doing something together and you're drinking. And yes, it's a social lubricant, and I'm fine with that. But I'm also not fine with excess. And I know a lot of people have problems with alcohol. They don't know when to stop,
yeah.
or they turn to somebody that no one likes.
Hmm.
They not just that guy where you do something kind of dumb. They're just not good to be around. And I know a few of those people, and I know a few people who just gave it up. I this is the first beer I've had in a week and a half, at least. I just don't drink to excess as much as I used to,
Yeah.
and for some people they can't, and I understand that and I respect that, and that's the thing. You got it, like anything in your life, it's you can abuse anything, so. That's what I say, when people are kind of push back a little bit. And I haven't had many people do that, to my face at least, about promoting, that. But we always promote safe alcohol consumption, and never, of course, it's just goes without saying. I'll say it. Don't drive. That's it.
Yeah.
Take an Uber.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we didn't have Uber back in the day.
Yeah,
We had to
yeah,
either find someone who didn't drink or, you know, was able to limit themselves to like one or two.
right. Yeah, and
Yeah, it's
like
never.
anything, some people can't handle it, and I understand that. So that's that. Some people have problems with food. Some people have problems with drugs. Some people, whatever. Anything to excess is bad. So
Right.
that's what I say. But I do like the whole social communal aspect of having a good beer and discussing beer and just
Yes.
with friends too. I met my best friends. We still when we get together we do it over a beer or two. So
I'll never forget the first craft beer that I had. I was I wasn't 21 yet.
Me
So
neither.
we'll say that we'll leave it at that. It was a Sierra Nevada, and I hated it. I was a young kid. I was like,
Yeah, sure, sure.
my go-to was like a Keystone Light because it was cheap and
Right.
I
My
might
go-to was Miller Genuine Draft.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, I hated it. Now it's like one of my favorites.
oh, you like the Sierra Nevada? So
Yeah,
you're an IPA fan?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, or a pale ale. Yeah, that's that.
Mhm.
Me too. That's my go-to. I don't know offhand what my first like craft beer was, but it was probably something like that because Sierra Nevada has been around for a very long time.
Yep.
So good for them.
Yeah, I had a friend who's in from California, and he brought it over. I'm like, this is this is cat piss.
Well, so most people, a lot of people say that. A lot of people don't like India Pale Ales, and I, in a way, I don't. I love them, so I don't understand sometimes what all these people who really will call it cat piss, how popular IPAs got.
Hmm.
And they got really popular. Like there were some bars that or some breweries that would just have 10 beers and 8 of them were IPAs. It's to the point to me right now that it's like it needs to either back off a little bit or something because they're doing like this the hazy juicy thing, which is fine to a point. But I've had a few beers recently that were the hazy juicy IPAs that didn't even taste like a beer. You couldn't taste anything but the juice, and it's
Hmm.
like, okay, stop trying to make it so juicy. Like maybe I don't know, 10 years ago they were just trying to make it as hoppy as possible. There was
Yeah.
another thing that was just too much. It's just kind of give me a. I'm gonna sound like that guy. Give me an IPA that's just kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I think a lot of things have like come into play that has kind of hurt the industry. You mentioned
Yeah.
marijuana. I mean, that's definitely a an alternative now that wasn't before.
Hmm.
Obviously DUIs. Obviously,
Yeah.
no one should ever drink and drive, but
Right. But
that can ruin your life. I mean,
absolutely, absolutely. And money, price, the price of a beer, the price to go out, a price of food, the price to go out and dine. That all I think more people are staying home too.
yeah,
I know that. Because well, again, hey, you got your video game system. You can sit down and play video games and have a couple beers and not go out because it's hurting the nightlife too and the live music
yeah,
thing. That's
yes.
that all it all kind of fits together. So
I always say I blame these things right here. I
yeah.
blame these things right here.
Oh yeah, it's
There's
kind of it's heartbreaking sometimes when you're playing and you're looking out in the crowd and everyone's
yeah, everyone's on there. Yeah,
they're on their phone. It's like we're playing music for you. We're jumping around like goose.
yeah. But you
So
you literally don't need to leave. I mean, back in the day too, like even um you would go out to a bar to watch the game because the bar had big screen TVs. You can go to
yeah,
Walmart. I was in Walmart the other day. I think I saw a 55-inch TV for $300.
yeah, yeah.
Like
You get a good one.
everyone's got a big screen TV.
Yeah,
You can order food from your phone. You can order, anything. Like, you can gamble on your phone. You can date on your phone. It's there's no reason to leave your house.
yeah. That's and we were laughing about it, but that's the truth. There less people are going out, and it's because of a lot of these things. The DUIs. It's the price of everything. It's the fact that you could have a good party at your house by yourself and entertain the hell out of yourself, without moving. I say stuff like that, and I have a completely remote job, so I have to force myself to leave my house sometimes. So I understand how it's like, okay, I could just stay here,
Yeah.
but so
Well, COVID did that too. I mean, like
yeah,
I mean, it forced us that we lived like that for an entire year, if not
yeah,
longer.
oh
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. That was. Some people couldn't take it. I didn't mind it too much actually, but for some people, especially the kids, my daughter, she was a teenager when that happened and all. So it was rough,
Hmm.
for a lot of people. So I get it, and it did change everything. So
Yeah, I feel like it's tough to own a bar too. Like you see a lot of places closing, and I don't know if you talk to, I imagine you talk to owners, obviously, but I mean, I've talked to some, just the liability that they face. I was talking to one recently. There was like an altercation started inside the location. I won't mention names. It moved
I,
out.
I I think I know the story, but go ahead. Yeah.
It moved outside. Some things happened outside where a kid got beat up, and the kid that got beat up tried suing the bar. And it's like
Yeah.
that to me is like it's crazy because it's like first of all it didn't happen inside and you know like go after the kid who beat you up or something. I don't
Yeah.
know like it just
Yeah. I know a few bar owners personally, and I never want to own a bar. It's a tough business. It really is, and it's getting tougher by the day.
yeah.
Yeah, and just the the band I'm in, we do play certain bars still. Like, we play more private events, corporate events, weddings, casinos and stuff. But we do play like there's a bar in Hazleton called Tap at Humboldt Depot.
Yeah.
Great beer bar. Love that place. Love the owners. But it's tough. It's tough. And I would never want. I would love to, but I don't want to because I know, like, how hard it is for anyone to make ends meet and dealing with the drunks who can't handle their booze,
Hmm.
the fights, everything like that, the underage kids trying to get in with their fake IDs. I don't want to deal with that, and it would be that's your life. So unfortunately, I will never own a bar.
I think a lot of the places I was talking to, obviously during COVID and even post COVID, you know, they started closing at 11, 12. And they actually said that they enjoy that now because they're home earlier, obviously,
Yeah,
and they're not dealing with the sloppiness
the
at 2
real
a.m.
late night people,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I've noticed that. I think it's better with live music. I'll go back to live music because that's what I know. We don't usually play past midnight, and that's a late one. Like when we play our local bar, when we play Tap, I think we play 8 to 11. And what I've noticed, and I don't know, and I'm sure the bar owners will tell you the same thing. They have a dinner crowd.
Hmm.
And then the old way of thinking was, oh, the band will start at 10, not to bother the dinner crowd. But
Right.
then the dinner crowd's going to kind of go away, 7:30, 8 o'clock at the latest? So then you got these 2 hours where nothing's going on. If you start the band early, then and if the band's good enough, you keep the crowd,
Right.
So, and then you're closed down because nothing good happens after midnight. And the people I've talked to say it's working really well for them. It's working better, like you said. They're home earlier. The ring, the register, which is what matters at the end of the night. It's still just as good, if not better, sometimes. So there you go. As long as you have, and I'm a proponent of live music, so yeah, I got good live music. Keep that dinner crowd there. So
Yeah. How has the I know we kind of wanted to talk about the book here, but
yeah, that's
you're
fine.
involved
We
in
talk
so
about
many.
everything I do.
Yeah.
It all feeds into each other, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, this whole podcast is about like, entertainment. So I want to, like talk about the landscape and how that's changed for live music too, because that's been, I mean, I entered the bar scene, I guess you could say, in 2003 when I turned 21. And I remember when I was 18, I wanted to be 21 so bad, not because I wanted to go out drinking, I wanted to be able to go see live music. And you know, from like 2003 to like 2008 was a great live music scene, and then before that was probably even better from what I've heard. But I mean, it's tough right now.
Yeah,
I think you have a different experience because you're in a cover band and you're playing music that people know and like love, which is
yeah,
great, right?
yeah. That's
Um,
that's that's what we do.
but I'm sure it's changed to a degree even for you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely changed. And back then there was what you're saying. The early 2000s. There was or even going, I'll even go back a little further
Yeah.
into the late '90s. There was a excellent, excellent original music scene, in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area, and I was just there as a mainly I was there as a listener. I was playing, but I wasn't playing in anything, exciting. I'd go see Breaking Ben, all the time. When he'd come, Ben would, because the original bass player is a really good friend of mine, Johnny Price. So he'd be playing, at a bar in Hazleton, and I'd go see him with 20 people, and it was really awesome to see like that band just, really take off. And there was Panacea was another one.
Oh, great band.
Oh, they're fantastic.
I thought they were next on the way out. I thought
Yeah,
for sure following Breaking Ben.
yeah.
I'm very good friends with Polly and
Paulie, I was gonna say, yeah, he's a nice guy. I haven't talked to him in years, but that was a great. I'm just mentioning two bands out of probably, I don't know, probably 20 that were fantastic.
yep.
And but in the cover band scene, it was still pretty good. Now it's like if you're not going to do like a solo or duo act, you're not getting anything good during the week. I mean, that's way gone. That's been
Right.
gone. It's just Friday, Saturday, and I feel blessed with this band, but we made it a point that we're going to play top 40 dance music, things that people like, things that people know, everything snaps. And it's all recognizable, whether it's from 1979 or it's from 2009 or whatever. You have to recognize the song, or we're not playing it.
Right.
That's what Ostrich Hat does, and that's it. So, and we've been blessed with a pretty decent schedule and stuff, and usually decently filled rooms. But it's different. It's kind of an ebb and flow, really. For a while, it wasn't doing very well. It seems like it's picking up now, but maybe, I don't know, just we're lucky. I don't know. But there's still a lot of good cover bands, and there's a lot of good musicians in this area. And we're all kind of struggling because, again, going back, if you're going to play a bar, they're not making as much money. So they can't pay you as much money. So the money's not really there at the bar level anymore. And there's not a lot of good places to play down in Scranton. V Spot.
Yep.
That's a great place to play. We haven't played there in a while, actually, but I'll throw that because they do live music correctly.
Yep.
The Waldorf, we play there. That it's a social club and stuff, but that's a great place to play. Wilkes-Barre, I mean, we just do the casino basically.
I feel like there's not many venues
No,
in the
there's not.
Wilkes-Barre area. I mean, you have the Jazz Cafe, which I
Right.
think is just doing Friday and Saturday at this point.
Yeah, and
Um,
most places are only doing that, except for like I said, the V Spot does music. I think 7 nights a week. God bless Vinny Archer because he knows how to do it.
mhm.
But it's totally different than when I started trying to do this crazy thing called music.
I
'Cause you
hope
could
there's like
do it.
I hope there's like a resurgence because like I
Yeah.
feel um I mean I don't know what makes these kids tick these days. And I think a lot are um health conscious, right? And that's fine.
Hmm.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
We talked about drinking in excess and how you shouldn't do that. So I get that too. But I I was also talking to a bar owner who is near a college campus, and they were saying they have like a 48-hour rule for these specifically football players, where if they have a game on Saturday, they can't be out on Thursday or Friday,
Hmm.
which like I don't know, like I'm torn by that. Like in my mind, if you're in sports and you want to do well, you should have the ability to make that decision. Do I want to go out on a Friday night
Right. Yeah.
and feel like dog shit the next day for a
Right.
game? Do I want to let
Right.
my
Hurt your
coach
team.
down, my
Yeah.
team
Don't
down?
do. Yeah.
Or maybe I'm a responsible adult and I want to go out with my friends. A, I won't drink, or B, I'll have one, or
Right.
like and go home. Like, but to force that upon um like these players and these kids,
Hmm.
and they're kids,
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
this school specifically, they're not going to the NFL. Like they're not doing it.
Yeah.
It just I feel like there's a lot of rules set in place now too, like where
Hmm.
again it's just that hurts the nightlife, and
Hmm.
it's a different world. It really is.
It is. Oh yeah. I mean, it's totally different. Even it's totally different now. Even from when I started this project. Like I said, we're going on 15 years with Ostrich Hat, which is wow. Can't believe we made it this long. The band has changed a little bit as far as members go, but we started it when the last band I was in was kind of slowing down. But it's different now. I mean, when we started to where we are now, the scene is different. And it's just not as good. And I hope there's a resurgence. Hopefully, more kids will pick up a guitar, or more kids will pick up drums. I'm not a big fan of. I'm a metalhead. I'm not a big fan of pop music. I like classic rock and classic metal.
Yeah.
Even though I play in a pop band, I do find stuff I like about like the 80s and 90s pop stuff. I do enjoy that. The new stuff, I'll play it. We just added Pink Pony Club to our set list.
Oh
So
boy,
yeah, I know it gets in your head, and it's just
it
I'm not
does.
a
It
big fan of
does.
that. But you know what? People are enjoying
People
it,
enjoy it.
so
Yeah.
keep playing it.
People are dancing. Yeah, it's part of the gig, right?
Five guys singing Pink Pony Club. It's wonderful.
I want to see that. I want to see that.
Well, come out to a show.
Well, I mean, if I didn't have two young children, I think I would still be, I wouldn't say I'd be out. Like, I mean, back in the day, man, like you were saying, there'd be actual full bands playing during the week.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and back in the day, there were like places like, we kind of knew like like Monday is here, Tuesday is here,
Hmm.
Wednesday's here, Thursday's here.
Yeah.
Friday's kind of like a crapshoot. We'll just see what band's playing where and where your buddies are going. But like it was every night of the week. And then I was just doing a promotion with LT Verasco and Coors Light, and this was back in the fall. And I think we wrapped up. I think our thing was from 8 to 10, 8 to 10 or 7 to 9. I think it was 8 to 10. And so I was like technically working, and I wanted to get some food to go home with. And I'm like, all right, I'll wait till like 9:30, um, right before we are wrapping things up. And they're like, oh, sorry, the kitchen closed at 9. I'm like, shit, okay. Well, now I'm like, I was set on getting like wing bites. I just wanted wing bites. That's just like that's what I wanted.
I can relate.
And so then I spent like so I was driving home. I'm like, oh, yeah, on my way home, what's on the way? I'm like, oh, this place is on the way. I got there, place is closed. This is like 10:30 at this point. Um, or oh yeah, our kitchen closed at 10, or whatever it might be. I'm like, this is crazy. That
Yeah.
either the bars are closed or their kitchens are closed or whatever it might be. And I just thought it was nuts.
It is, and that's how it is now. It's a completely different thing now. It's everything's closing. I don't really know one place, even on the weekends that open, as far as the kitchen goes, open late. I'm stopping at either Sheets or Wawa.
That's where I ended up going. I had to go to
Yeah,
Sheets.
yeah.
It was terrible. Finn's Cafe 99 in Wilkes-Barre. They are open late. Kitchen's open late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. That's
Yeah.
good to know because when I'm in the area.
Shout out Jimmy Finn. Yeah, he's and he gets crowded. He's like, I'm the only place that's open this late and serving food this late, and he's getting a crowd.
There you go, and
But
that's why.
what I was saying is, I would think I would still be active going out, if I didn't have young children.
Sure. Oh
Just
yeah.
because I mean, that's how I grew up. It's just I like to be social. I like that's just like my phone is great. I do love this thing, but like I'd rather be around people and like experiencing something.
Yeah.
Think
I
about
agree.
these kids. I mean, think about your life. Like, I mean, some of the dumbest shit I did was, alcohol related, but some of the best things I've ever done
Yes.
were
That's
also like can you imagine being maybe your early 20s, right? You're 21, you're of legal age right now, and you're like, I'm just gonna sit home, and then you get to your 50s, and you're like, man, I didn't do anything. Like I just like
well.
I'm just like I just sat around and I like I just think that's
Yeah.
crazy. Like some of the best moments of my life was like going out. Like it didn't have to be drinking, but like going out with your buddies. Like my favorite thing about going out was the unknown. You never knew where that
Hmm.
night would take you.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you never
Actually,
knew.
that's in my book.
Is it?
Yeah. It's we call it an adventure. You know, you
Yeah.
never know where it's going to end,
That
but
was
it's
the best
always an
part.
adventure. It's they're the nights that you'll remember. You know, they're the
Forever.
nights that you'll remember. You remember who you're with. You may remember some stupid things, but remember that, you know what? Okay, we all made it home alive. And this is a story I can tell, you know, and that's, to me, I love that. I love telling stories. I think most people who work in this industry like we do just love to tell stories. And we're, some people are more, into social interaction than other people, but we all enjoy for what it is, or one way or the other. We enjoy telling stories or getting people to listen, and smile and laugh
Yeah.
and say, yeah, that's cool, or that was really cool. And yeah, that's a chapter in the book about going on an adventure. There is a lot of artwork in the book that I drew most of it.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
actually, I drew all of it. Some of it, some of it was all scanned. It was scanned on a tiny little scanner from back in the '90s. It was a little pixelated, so I did have AI help me a little bit to fix it up. But most of the artwork is original artwork by me. Well, actually, all of it is. But I just want to get that out there because I have a drawing of. I did a drawing of like the Fellowship of the Ring type of guys, and they're all like, "We're going on an adventure," and that's kind of part of the chapter was going on an adventure and where it can lead you, and it's always stories for the ages, and so that's part of it's another part of the book, and it's a big part of what I love about, again, just social interaction over a beer or two.
Yeah.
So
I always say like you could go out and meet your best friend that night and not know it. You can go out and meet
yeah,
your future wife or future husband or whatever it might be. Like
yeah,
I have a quote, and my buddy still to this day always because this is probably 20 years ago. I said it's all about the story. It's all
hmm,
about the story. I said put
yeah,
it on my tombstone. It's all about the story. And he'll like we'll be like because my buddies and I still try and get together once a year and like we'll go. We used to go to Boston and the guy that did the trip no longer does it, so we started going to Philly. But we make it a point. We see each other like once or twice a year, and we'll be like in the middle of something, and he goes, "Hey John, it's all about the story, right?"
yeah, yeah.
And it's like it's just those memories you have and that you create like with your
Hmm.
best friends. It's just man, you're not gonna
It,
get that sitting at home.
and you're not, and it's good to hear that you still connect with, I'm assuming, childhood friends and stuff, because that's
Yeah,
that's how I am too. I still, the weird thing is when I we don't see each other as much as we should. I'll say that because we're old. We all have lives. We all
you're
have
busy.
kids. We
Yeah.
all have jobs. But when we get together, uh, it like no time has passed.
Hmm.
And that's the beautiful thing, and that's the great thing about having good friends and friends that you kept from childhood because you stayed in the area. Even if they left, they're coming back because they know you're here. And that. There's a few people I know do the same thing. They may have left or they may be kind of far away, but they'll come back and they'll know. Yeah, I could call Jeff up and have a beer and talk about, hey, remember that stupid thing we did, and I'll know exactly what you're talking about. And actually, there are a couple of stories in the book that the names have been changed, I'll say, to protect the innocent or guilty, but they're pretty much true.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of stories. I didn't put a lot of actual stories in it, but there are a few, and they're like some of my favorite parts of the book because it takes me right back. So.
Yeah. Talk about the illustration behind it. Why was that important to have as part of the book?
I just like to draw. I always loved to draw, and I drew cartoons and stuff since I was a kid, and it breaks it up a little bit, makes it a little bit less than a little bit more than just words on the page. There's a little illustration that goes along with whatever the chapter's about, and I'll say thank God for AI because again, I'll admit it. I used it. I used it to
Enhance it.
touch
You
up my
enhanced it.
drawings.
You
What's
enhanced
that?
it. You
Yeah,
enhanced it.
yeah, yeah. It did enhance it. Like I said, I found a drawing I really liked, and it was on a napkin that I drew like 30 years ago. But it was a guy with a guitar, singing. He was singing something. I forget what he was singing. He's singing something about beer, but he's singing to a beer can, and I'm like, I like this drawing, so I was like, I can redraw it. So I just scanned it and I just told AI, I just color it in. But yeah, so I don't want to get off a tangent about AI, but use it to enhance. Don't use it, to skip the creative steps.
Right.
But yeah, I think the artwork was something that I really wanted to include. I did drawings for the first book. Some of them, again, I retouched up, and they do appear in this book because I just like them. But yeah, they just go along with the chapters and just make it a little bit easier. Just sometimes there's a little word bubble or something that'll say something kind of goofy in it, but it just breaks it up so it's not just a wall of text. Because the book's like 300 pages long. I had to actually stop writing
I was going
and
to ask you
save.
how long it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 310 pages long, and I kept on writing and just going back through my notes, and I had so much that my wife was like, maybe you should save some of this stuff for like on the next volume. It's like, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
So I actually made myself stop putting everything together around July, and then just kind of going over it and over and over it, and hopefully I caught all the typos and stuff, but because I couldn't afford to hire a proofreader, so
Put that through AI too.
yeah, well, yeah, but I don't trust AI that much yet.
No, you can't. You can't. But this is talking to you now, like, obviously I knew you had a book, but talking to you now, like, I want to get this book, and it is available to purchase. I believe it's on Amazon, correct?
Yeah, for now it's on Amazon. I did order actual copies that I'm going to put in at least Bogo's Beer Distributor in Whitehaven. My sister and brother-in-law own it, and so they're going to have the books there. Some of the bars that I do know the owners, it'll be there. A couple bottle shops, but for some reason I don't have the books yet. I ordered them a while ago, so yeah, best place to get it right now is Amazon. You can get it on Kindle for like $5, and the book, the actual book, I think is $19.99. 310 pages of alcohol enthusiasm.
And what's the process like getting a book published?
Very easy now.
Okay.
It wasn't as easy like in 2003 when I did the first one. I submitted it to publishers, and this one I published through Bonomo Media and Entertainment, the corporation that I own. That's all. Just right through Amazon. You just upload your manuscript, and that's it. Basically, you have to go through the Library of Congress, get a copyright for it. But the process, do it all online. It's really easy, simple. Like doesn't cost much either, which is another nice thing. It's not, and you don't. I mean, if you want to go the traditional route, you can send it to HarperCollins or whoever, and they could say, they give you a rejection letter, I'm sure, or you could just publish it yourself through Amazon, through their publishing program, and I'm happy with it. I really am. It was easy. It was, yeah, like I said, you got to get your copyright, and then you got get your ISBN number and your barcode. Costs a couple bucks. It's not really that much, and that was it. You upload it and set it to Premiere, and then just start promoting it. That's it. It was easy. Yeah,
And how's it been going so far?
good. Better than expected. I'm not retiring anytime soon, but not too bad. I promote it through the TV show. I promote it through the band. So it's easy to have fans. Well,
Sure.
viewers, people who come see the band. I don't like to call them fans because it sounds a little too conceited. But I'm able to reach people like that a lot easier than someone who isn't doing anything like that goes out to the public. I do promote it on the TV show all the time. Do promote it on Facebook. Do promote it on Instagram. And like I said, when the band plays, every once in a while, I'm like, hey, use my book. And, I do have a couple copies. I gave, we did a contest recently to give like a like an author's proof copy away. Gave that away, but so anyone comes see the band, I'm gonna have a couple copies eventually. Sell
Okay.
them on break. So, but yeah,
Hustling, hustling.
it's been going okay. Yeah, it's been going
Good.
okay. I'm happy with it. You know, as long as if it makes a couple bucks for beer money, I'll be fine. You know, like I told somebody a long time ago with the first book, how much do you make with that book? They asked me, and I said enough to buy one case of good craft beer. That's it.
What is an ideal drink to have while reading this book?
Well, because I love. Okay, a beer. I'm gonna go with a Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA because standard issue IPA that I really love.
That's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great IPA. If
Great
you want a
beer.
mixed drink, I go with a gin and tonic. I love gin and tonics. You know, Tanqueray
Okay.
or just a Jameson. Neat.
Okay.
I'm gonna go whiskey. I'm not a big wine fan, even though the TV show
I hate
says wine,
wine.
hops, and road stops. I'm not a huge wine fan. Don't know much about wine, but I do like a decent oaky Merlot. But that's about it. So,
I
there you
hate
go.
wine. Hate it. Like I try it occasionally. My wife enjoys wine. Um, and people will probably roast me for this, but to me, it all tastes the same.
Well,
And I don't have enough money to afford the high end like these
you
grapes
don't
are
need
from
to.
here. No, that's what I say
You-
too. But
yeah, you don't need to because a lot of people, a lot of these wine connoisseurs, and this is in the book too. I did some research. Most of these people, when they're put to the test, they can't tell the difference between a boxed wine and like a I don't know like an old wine from like a wine cellar and stuff that's like $500 a bottle or whatever. They don't can't tell the difference. So that's the thing. I do have a couple passages about wine. Not as much that much. 'Cause I'm not a huge wine drinker. I don't know enough about it. Like I said, even though the show's called Wine, Hops, and Road Stops, it's just because that's what we cover. But
sure.
you know, I'm not. I'd go with a beer or a gin and tonic. They're my two.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you hope people get out of reading this book?
A good laugh and say, "Hey, I've been there." When they read the stories or they read the parts that are about the bar culture or things that have happened, they get a chuckle and they say, "Hey, I've been there," or "Hey, I remember this night with my buddy when I was camping.
Yeah.
This happened, or whatever." Or I went on the beer run in the snowstorm last year, and that's in the book. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, my thumbs up. How about that?
What is that?
I don't know. I guess it caught my
Is that
thumb.
is that what it does? Is that I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know. Never did that before. I'll have to figure that out for my meeting
This is
tomorrow.
weird. I don't know.
That was weird. Yeah.
Well, that's why I want to read it. I want to kind of go back in time and kind of, you know, um, it sounds relatable to, that life.
Yeah, I try to make it relatable too. It's not preachy. And it's like I said. Sometimes it's a little bit goofier than I wanted it to be, but it just kind of came out that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, the book is available on Amazon. Where can people follow you on socials?
Facebook is a main place to follow. You could follow the Drinker's Guide to Survival on Facebook. Wine Hops and Road Stops on Facebook. And of course the band, Ostrich Hat. We're the only Ostrich Hat in the world. So if you look us up, you're going to find us. There's no other band called Ostrich Hat. We made sure of that.
Where did that name come from?
Two random words.
Okay.
I was telling my sister about it, about the new project I was doing, and she was paging through a magazine, and she's like, "You gotta name it something like weird." She's like ostrich. There was an ostrich on one page, and there was a guy with a bowler hat on the other. And she's like, "How about Ostrich Hat?" And I said, "Joelle, that is the stupidest name I've ever heard. We'll call it that until we find something better."
Yeah.
And now it means us. It's because we're pretty weird. We're pretty goofy band.
That's cool.
Hey, we play Pink Pony Club.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah. So that's where you can find us. WineHopsandRoadstops.com. beerdrinkersonline.com, I believe, is the other website, but it all kind of goes to the same place. So
Okay.
Facebook is the place I hang out on because I'm old. I'm an old man. Hangs out on Facebook.
I'm right there with you. But what's next for Jeff Bonomo?
I don't know. I'm going to write another book of the stuff that I didn't put into this one. I'm going to keep on playing music, keep on doing a TV show, and one thing I'm a gamer. I always love playing video games. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try to make a game or something. Something wild like that. I don't know. I just like to create, and so who knows? What I want to do this year. I, I did find a bunch of old demo cassette tapes of a band I was in the '90s. I called up the other members. I'm like, there's some fun, decent stuff here. We should get together and re-record this. So who knows? Maybe we'll be doing that. I don't know. Yeah. So it's the first thing I think is going to be another book, and then whatever time I have left, I'll do something else.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Well, best of luck with everything. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
talking to you tonight.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Yeah. Hopefully we get out. Hopefully you get out to see us sometime, and we could hang out and have a beer in person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, is there anything I missed you want to say about the book itself or
No, I think we covered it all. I just I hope anyone who is an alcohol enthusiast like me that likes craft beer, likes craft wine, likes good spirits, and even some good food, picks it up and gets a laugh out of it and says, "Hey, I remember when that happened to me." That's all I need.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it sounds like it's something that it just like yeah, I've made a couple bucks doing it great, but like it just sounds like it's something that it feels good to do and
Yeah,
it's one of those things it's part of the journey, when you're at the end of the road and you can be like I did all this cool shit. Like
that's the thing. I don't want to be bored. I
yeah.
don't want to be an old man being like, I didn't do anything. And there's just some people that I know that's just like, I don't do anything. I like to do stuff like this, be creative.
Yeah.
Whether it's podcasting, whether I'm doing TV shows, or whether I'm, even my normal, day job is sometimes it's pretty fun. It's a I do true crime stuff, true crime documentaries and stuff. So
Oh, cool.
I'm a part of that. So you know, shout out to lawandcrime.com.
Longcrime.com.
Yeah,
Check that
yeah,
out too.
we're top one of the top true crime websites in the country.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, we do a lot of like true crimes. I most of the stuff I do is for our body cam channel. So I'm in charge of trying to find the weirdest, craziest body cam stuff, and go from there. I do some editing for him too, but I'm mainly the assignment editor for him. But that's a lot of fun. If you really like true crime stuff, we've done a lot of things for like A&E. We've done stuff for we're on Tubi now, and a lot of different networks. So it's a lot of fun. I surround myself with media. I do a lot of different things, and it keeps me young.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we only get one shot at this, so it's good to
Hmm.
I always talk about and I want to keep going with you, but just legacy, when it's and one reason I like doing this too is because, when I'm gone, like this will live on forever.
Right.
And it's like it's music too, like the
Yeah.
stuff that people have created so long ago, and who've since passed away, like that lives on forever. And that's such a cool thing to think about.
Like Ozzy. He reminded me of Ozzy.
Yep.
Ozzy passing really got to me because that was my boy.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's gonna live on forever. His stuff, Black Sabbath, music like that's gonna live on forever. Even the local guys that just write music in their basement, if they put it out online, put it out on the
Hmm.
internet for people to hear, it's gonna be there forever.
Yeah.
Whether that's a good or bad thing, who knows? But yeah, and that's what I like. And this podcast, and what you do, it's gonna live on. You'll have something to look back.
Yeah. Well, I also think like too, like my dad passed away it was 20 years ago last year. And what I wouldn't give to have some kind of either a video or even a voicemail. So it's like, my kids will always be able to, you know, see me when I'm gone, right? Like it's kind of neat.
Yeah, I can relate to you. My dad's gone 15 years, and yeah, I feel the same way. And also it's like she could see me now. So yeah.
Yeah. So, well, Jeff, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm excited to get that book and go through that and kind of have a good laugh and relate to it because yeah, those are good times.
Yeah,
So
it's been great talking to you. Thanks. It's great meeting you. Like I said, come out, see us sometime
yeah,
when you get a babysitter or something. You and your wife come on out.
yeah,
Check out the band, and we could talk in person, have a beer.
yeah. I feel like I'm close because I have an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old,
Hmm.
and so
Yeah,
once I get a little bit older and I can trust a babysitter,
yeah,
I will.
yeah, yeah.
I'll be able to. My mom's great though, and my wife's parents are good too. But yeah,
I'll still be banging away probably somewhere.
sweet, love it. Well, Jeff, take care, keep creating, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right,
All
man.
right.
Thanks.